deep to center. Going back is Ellsbury to the wall. Caught a home run for Sano. Number 3, and the Twins jump out in front 2-0. The ball drilled to the left field corner and deep.
Step.
Gone, a home run. Second home run of the night for the Twins, and it's 6-0.
And you think these Target Field fans aren't getting a big kick out of putting a whooping on the Yankees? This is fun stuff.
That one's not coming back. He has a
Coming into this game, Alex Rodriguez has never homered here at Target Field.
And that statistic is going to change. Alex Rodriguez with a tremendous home run. The third deck. The 1-1. Is having himself a big night. A 2-run shot, the 22nd of his season, and the Yankees are right back in this one.
Pitch from Perkins, hit high in the air, deep center field, back goes Hicks. This one is gone. A home run, and it's a tie ball game. He's done it. 3 for the crowd here in Minnesota. Didn't waste any time.
Colin the bartender.
At bartender Colin on Twitter. So if you need any news, Floyd's Tuesday, that's where to find me.
I'm Brandon Warren at Brandon_Warren on Twitter, and with Patrick Donnelly on the shelf today, not feeling.
Did we trade him?
Great. We did not trade him.
He's on the.
Just put him on the disabled list.
Disabled. Okay.
With that roster exemption, we used it on the guy that I will hand it to right now.
Yeah, so I guess I got called up from the minor leagues here.
Nice.
I'm Andrew Brisgornia. I write for the blog Twinkie Town, part of the SB Nation group of blogs. And then I also work for Inside Edge. It's a scouting company that it's contracted with ESPN and Major League teams. So there you go. There's my resume.
Well, that sounds good enough for me. Kind of a cloudy start to our outdoor patio show. We got people showing up. We're going to be here for an hour. You do have a chance to win some free Coors Light. What? They are on special as always, and then there's we always got to talk about the chicken wings.
The chicken wings, yep. We got the grilled wings going on the patio here. Be starting up any minute, and my inside man told me that we've got a bacon habanero sauce that's going to be going live today. So we'll see if anybody without the weak stomach swing on up and see if the bacon habanero is for you.
Is this a brand new item that's being debuted?
This is another new one. Yep, every week he's got something new, and the bacon habanero is one I'd never heard of before. I don't know if my palate can handle it, so somebody might have to give me the inside dish on how it tastes.
Now, Brandon, do you test these wings every week? How's the
A lot of
Is it a winning percentage so
Brandon's
far?
usually one of our test dummies. Last week he went with the shrimp pad thai, right?
Yeah, and that was great too. I mean, I haven't had a bad dish here at Floyd's yet. So the wings specifically, especially the specific Twins Tuesday sauce that's created for us, is also very good too.
Yeah.
So I have not had a swing and a miss yet here at Floyd's in the 7 or 8 weeks we've been doing this with the food.
It's always a home run when you come out to Twins Tuesday here at Floyd's. I know it's the banner. You guys, what is the halfway to Patty? Are you guys saying halfway to St. Patty's Day?
Halfway to St. Patty's Day.
Good
Yep, that'll
Lord.
be this Saturday. Our Irish heritage out here. Yeah, we got halfway to St. Patrick's Day. That'll be this Saturday. And there's all sorts of specials on Irish beer. There'll be Irish car bombs, Jameson, Bushmills, all sorts of stuff going on special. And one of my favorite specials that the cook does of the entire year, he does an Irish nachos where he's got corned beef and
Can we
it's
just back up a second, by the way? I know it's popular, but the Irish car bomb seems totally politically incorrect name for a drink.
You know, it's politically incorrect, and as a bartender being on the other side of the bar, I think it's also incorrect to have more than one of them because I don't think any
lives up
drinker
to its title.
And I don't think any drink ever created gets people into more trouble than the Irish car bomb.
So that's a halfway to St. Patty's Day party this weekend.
That's right, this weekend. Yep.
Did you guys mark it out on the calendar? Is it officially halfway?
I believe it is. We had it at the same time this time last year, and we've got like a legit Irish punk band from St. Paul coming out to play. So this is a huge draw for us. We really like. We made up a holiday.
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day just got too far away, so we decided to do it twice a year.
I'm already kind of surprised that the Vikings are already in their camp. It's like, oh man, summer went by so fast. And now, as the Twins, we've rounded second base and we're heading to third on our season. And where are we at, Brandon? Where are we at, guys?
Well, it's time to find out if they're going to get stuck at third or if they're going to be waved around to score.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
or tagged out.
Metaphorically speaking, or if they get just gunned down at the plate. It's kind of something I made light of today was the idea that you can kind of see how other teams gauge where the Twins are at by if they're trading pieces to sell or to buy. And when you hear about
Kansas City.
Well, Kansas City is just basically an arms race, and I don't mean that in the terms of pitching, but they're gaining assets at a crazy rate.
They're going for the World Series here.
Exactly. And for me, I got a lot of heat from Royals fans when I made the point that this tells me they do not believe they can sign Alex Gordon past this year because they're going to go for this one last shot, and it's hard to believe it's one last shot because last year wasn't even supposed to be their first shot. But with this core, with Alex Gordon, I know Lorenzo Cain's going to still be there, Moustakas and Hosmer will still all be there. But when this team loses Alex Gordon, like I think they might, that's a big loss for a team like that. So to see them trying to run away with the division, that they're probably already going to run away with anyhow, I mean, that's whatever. But they're also gearing up for a playoff run where they can, snipe a short series from somebody and move into the AL Championship Series pretty fast. And that's where the Cueto move came into play. Zobrist allows them depth. Zobrist, yeah, he allows
today,
them,
right?
Yes, he allows them depth at any position, literally. Even shortstop in a pinch, if somebody is to go down, he'll start in the outfield is the initial indication. I wouldn't be stunned if he sees a lot of time at second base before all is said and done. But when you see other teams behind the Twins dropping out, that artificially can kind of push the Twins up the ranks a little bit and make you feel a little more confident that they're going to have a good chance there at the end.
Well, so what's the feeling? Are the Twins going to do something? Or are they like, we don't have a chance?
Well, there's been a couple sentiments that I've seen on Twitter and whatnot. The first being that it shouldn't just be automatically assumed that we're in trouble because Kansas City is going out and acquiring all these here and now assets. The truth of the matter is, like Brandon said, there is something to the fact that this seems to be the Royals putting all their chips in, going all in this year, not necessarily thinking entirely about the future. So that, I think, bodes well for the Twins. And the other thing is, as a Twins fan, did you really expect them to win the division? This is a team that is trying to sneak into the playoffs and see what they can do when they get there.
Yeah, I mean, what is it now? 6.5 games behind Kansas City?
8 now.
8? Okay,
as of today.
I need to pay more attention.
Breaking in here to Ken Rosenthal reporting John Papelbon to the Nationals to close. So he'll knock was it Drew Storen off that closing perch, and now also signed for 2016. So I think he had a vesting option that the Nationals must have needed to vest or accept to get him to agree to come to the Nationals. So that's the breaking news right now as we're, again, keeping an eye on this trade deadline that you guys are wondering if the Twins are going to acquire anybody. To to Rusty's original point, I think you do have to acquire somebody in that bullpen. It's
For
not
the
going to
bullpen.
be. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a big piece. And incidentally, there aren't that many big pieces available. You're talking about maybe Aroldis Chapman, who they're just not going to pony up for. But there's plenty of guys that can pitch a 7th or 8th thing that they could go after.
Yeah, who's on the radar? What are we thinking?
Well, Joe Blanton got DFA'd, and I tweeted that, but I don't know. I mean, he's always been that future Twin, and that'd be free.
Blanton's not a sexy pick, though.
No. Not in any sense of the word.
No.
He also looks like me.
Why do I keep hearing Przinsky, AJ, coming up?
Well, they need a catcher. I mean, Kurt Suzuki has been an absolute unmitigated disaster behind the plate this year. Przinsky's not going to bring anything more defensively, but the bat's been pretty good, and the Braves have done a nice job of keeping him fresh, whether it's with Gerald Laird or Christian Betancourt earlier in the season. I think it's Gerald Laird is backup right now, but they've done a good job keeping him fresh. His numbers look good, so they could probably extract some value out of a guy who's, I believe, going to be 39 next year, and he's going into free agency. So,
and a left-handed bat.
Do we like him?
Well, it depends on who he plays for. Just ask the Twins fans.
Right, and I think some of the fact that he's been gone and away from the White Sox for long enough now, I think we've kind of forgotten and let go of the AJ a-hole that we can't stand. If he's batting 6th for us, I think we could kind of get over it.
This is the guy in the trade that brought you Joe Nathan and Francisco Liriano.
I've never gotten the hatred for him.
Don't forget Boof Bonzer.
Who could forget Boof Bonzer?
You never gotten the hatred? Why did fans go hating on him?
They just heard about his attitude, and once he's off the team, it's just we turned on him.
The 06 season when they were in kind of a chase for the division title, and he was standing on the top step screaming profanities after Jim Thome or whoever it was home runs, I think, and Michael Kadire came out in the paper and said, we're done with that guy, we're sick of him, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But that's 9 years ago. He hasn't played for us for like 11 years. So
he can help you win. The fans will get over it.
Absolutely.
And at 39, he can actually help you win?
That's a question, too. Because if he's playing this well now, maybe his worst baseball is still in front of him for this season, let alone if they were to be tricked into keeping him any length past that. I know that was a guy they were interested in. They offered him a 2-year deal.
I bet his worst is still better than Kurt Suzuki, what he's putting up today.
Man, is it ever.
As nice as Kurt, and it's been well documented on the show, as nice as Kurt Suzuki fit in last year, he has been an utter and dismal failure in just about every facet of the game.
And maybe Andrew doesn't know, but the guy he's pinch hitting for is the number one guy on the bench Kurt Suzuki bandwagon. So you're going to be expected to carry that cross here for the next 45 minutes or so is the anti-Kurt Suzuki.
If you think you're going to get by with just Mauer bashing, you got to step up your game a little bit here. We got more people we don't like on this team.
Hopefully you're prepared for that.
Well, speaking of 39-year-old AJ, I mean, how about that 40-year-old Torrey Hunter over the weekend against It was not a great season great series for the Twins, but Hunter sure had a good one. He's amazing.
He's just staving off Father Time right now. It's like I keep waiting for him to crash, and he hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. Maybe he's lost a step and a half, but he's still
look like it.
Yeah, he's still vital.
If nothing else, potential trade targets should be under the belief now that the Fountain of Youth is somewhere in western Minneapolis, because at 40 years old, he looks as good as he ever has. He's been a pleasant surprise this year.
And his leadership, his sense of humor in the clubhouse.
Yep.
No, I think the players have gravitated towards his leadership. I mean, to what extent it matters is hard to say, because you can also give some of that to Paul Molitor's attention to detail as a manager and the way he's doing things a little bit different than Ron Gardenhire did, whether it was Aaron Hicks leading off against a lefty and batting 8th or 9th against a righty. That's something that Gardenhire didn't do much, was move guys around based on matchups. And that's attention to detail and data that it's just a totally different thing here in Minneapolis.
And you thought for a moment that Molitor maybe was the key to beating the Yankees, because that first game was like, really? Is this happening?
Yep.
This has been such a magical seasons of highs, and that's going to go down as one of the highlights of the season.
Right. Well, we started off the show with it. As of about 9:30 Central Time Saturday night, everybody was thinking they were going to bring the old brooms out on Sunday. Alex Rodriguez interjected.
Yeah.
But it's
another old guy.
I still think you got to be encouraged, at least by the first two games. Game 2 kind of fell apart, but Patrick kind of said last week he hopes that Molitor can be the sign that the Twins looking at the Yankees as the big brother under Ron Gardenhire's over with.
Until it fell apart, the scoring was like 15-2. The Twins had scored 15 runs versus the Yankees 2, and then it fell apart.
Right.
But so that what does that say? Is that because the Yankees are that good, or what happened?
It's just a team. It's a veteran team with advanced approaches, and then something called J.R. Murphy happened in the ninth inning against Glenn Perkins. You know, your closer is going to be prone to having hiccups from time to time. People get a little bit irrational when they happen in such close proximity. I think it was, 5-6 games or whatever difference. But at the end of the day, Perkins has still been wonderful this season. His 2 hiccups just happened to come in such close quarters, and I'm not terribly worried about Perkins. Are you guys?
No, and I totally put the Oakland deal behind us. We talked about last week about how some of that goes on the defense and the way that game was played at Oakland. He had a bad outing against the Yankees, and last I checked, a lot of relief pitchers have had bad outings against the Yankees.
Yeah, especially this veteran offense. It's all guys over 30, and then Didi Gregorius, and they all have good approaches. So that's a tough matchup for any team.
Yeah, with Perkins, I mean, think of how incredibly good he has been this year. He's going to slip up eventually. You can't expect him to be perfect the entire season. I mean, what is it, maybe 2-3 relievers ever have had perfect seasons when it comes to saves. So, yeah, it's disappointing. It's heartbreaking. I think I was more upset about him giving up the homer to J.R. Murphy. I mean, if your reaction to that name is who, that's the exact reaction we want from you.
Right.
Because he was a backup catcher that just happened to hit a big home run.
I tweeted, John Ryan Murphy just assassinated that baseball, because you think of the guys with 3 names as assassins, and so that was just kind of the joke that came to mind for me. It didn't get a lot of traction. Most of my tweets don't, but I thought it was pretty good.
We cast a wide net.
We're more focused on Adam Brett Walker.
Exactly. There you go. He's an assassin too.
It's been a rough stretch for the Twins, though, right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's encouraging with how uneven they've played. But they're still 6 games over 500, 3 games up on that last wild card spot. But think about who they're up on. Toronto, who just loaded up with Troy Tulowitzki, as everyone, including myself, was asleep last night. Had a tweet waiting for me from Colin when I woke up at 7 a.m. He says, not a whisper from Brandon about this Tulo trade. He must be asleep.
Yep.
Guilty as charged.
I was going through my withdrawals at that time of night. I needed some insight.
I have none. I have none to offer. But when you think about the teams that are over 500 in the American League, Toronto, Baltimore, those are the 2 that are in the thick of it that could threaten the Twins. And those are 2 teams you don't want nipping at your heels, because Buck Showalter-led teams have been very good the last couple of seasons. And Toronto has probably the best offense in baseball, and it got that much better by adding Troy Tulowitzki. It's tenuous ground, and everybody wants the Twins to sit tight, hold on to their prospects, hug them close like they're children right before bed. But I don't know. I think you got to do something. Whether it's bullpen catcher. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, the bullpen catcher's not going to do anything for you. But maybe people want to do a shortstop, but now there's not that many shortstops out there.
Shortstop, very thin market right now.
You got too many bodies too. You got to start playing somebody other than Danny Santana out there.
And Terry Ryan was quoted in the paper today as saying he would much prefer for one of the Escobar, Santana, somebody to take that job rather than to have to go just add another face.
I've been surprised why they haven't given Nunez more run. Not because his defense is good, but because he's hitting.
Right.
If you bat him ninth, which they did, 2-3 weeks ago, turns the order over. Again, probably not going to hit like he has all season long. And his defense hasn't looked egregious to me. It hasn't been good. But I just don't understand why it's the Danny Santana show out there. Absolutely. I think Escobar's out there tonight. Yep. But it's just like they've chosen the worst guy of the 3 consistently.
I'm a big fan of the ride the hot bat. If the guy's hitting, I don't care what his career average is. I don't care. Make him revert to the norm. Make that happen before you start worrying about who you're going to plug in.
That was the exact usage of Eduardo Escobar all last season, and he had a nice year, 40 doubles, and did well offensively, and now he's not. But it's just like the usage pattern at short is just strange.
Yeah, I think it was 1500 ESPN. They just had something that they posted yesterday or today about how they felt that Danny Santana has the most talent, and that's probably why he's been playing the most at shortstop, even though he hasn't had the best results.
Yeah, I don't think you can deny the talent there, but at the same time, you can't keep doing things that undermine your ability to win baseball games. Now,
not when you're in a pennant race.
I would
or
also
a wild
argue
card race.
Using Trevor May in the bullpen and Mike Pelfrey in the rotation is doing the same exact thing.
Yeah.
It's like a death march to... we have no idea how this happened. You mean not using the best players in the biggest spots was not conducive to victory? I'm stumped.
It's kind of weird thinking that we always complained all the time about how the veterans would play over the young guys, and now we have kind of two opposite viewpoints here. Santana's the young guy, and we think he's playing too much, and Pelfrey is the veteran, and we're thinking he's in the starting rotation for too long.
It's almost an anti-Gardy concept in some respects, because he'd get his young guys too that he really liked, and he would just roll with like the Matt Tolberts and all that too. I found myself thinking about Matt Tolbert the other day, and I think it was maybe somebody had asked me why James Beresford hadn't been up, because he was so darn good in AAA, and I'm just like, do you remember Matt Tolbert?
Yeah.
Same kind of deal, but it's just funny how the different ideologies can kind of be mixed. But you don't hear anybody saying Paul Molitor's just another guard, he just plays his guys. I think that's kind of refreshing too.
Mm-hmm. Who's starting tonight? He's
Pelf.
And he's
Big Mike
he needs
Pelf.
a win.
He needs to not be terrible. He's been terrible like the last 7 or 8 starts. And Nick Nelson, Twins Daily, tweeted, do you guys, this was kind of a crowdsourcing thing, so I'll source it to you guys too. Thanks for the topic idea, Nick. Do you think Pelfrey gets bounced from the rotation with a bad start tonight? You just haven't heard anything about it, but sometimes the Twins don't really telegraph those moves either. So maybe.
Here's what I'm thinking is that Trevor May, after Paul Molitor was saying he had no idea where he was going to be pitching in the bullpen, all of a sudden now he's started getting some of those late innings. He's been in the 8th inning recently. I think it's kind of hard when granted, the trade deadline's coming up, so maybe there will be some other guys coming in shortly. But I think it's kind of hard to say, all right, now we figured out Trevor May is going to be our next guy to try pitching in the late innings, and then suddenly switch on that and say, you know what, actually we want him back in the rotation.
Well, and there's this certain other podcast that I do with this certain former Twin.
Yeah, it's the breakdown.
Yeah, with Cole DeVries. Listen to us on Thursdays. And actually, I think we're recording tomorrow. But anyway, we had talked about, at this point now, Trevor May is not really stretched out to start again, and he's going to need 3 or 4 starts to stretch out, where he goes to 50 pitches, 65, 75, 80, or however they want to do that. And so, do you send him to Rochester to do that? Do you put him in the rotation and kind of have a bullpen game with him starting and going 4 innings? It's hard because now that you're in the middle of a run where every game is obviously going to mean a lot too, you can't start giving away games just to get a guy back up to speed. And so that kind of had to be part of your process for sending him to the bullpen in the first place was, can we get him ramped back up if we need to? Where do we stand on that? I'm just not sure the Twins have prepared themselves for that.
Well, would it be bad to have him pair with, say, J.R. Graham for 6-7 innings, just a few games, a few turns through the rotation?
No, I mean, Graham's been a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. It was something that none of us were particularly impressed with when it happened, when it ended up being May instead of Pelfrey to the bullpen. And now the problem is that the string of games are going to start getting heavy. The days off are going to get thinner and thinner until the end of the season. And this team, if they were going to do something to try to change the bullpen situation and the starting pitching situation, it should have been done already. They've had a lot of days off. They've had the All-Star break. They've been basically getting 1 day a week off, and that's going to end now going into the final stretch of the season. It's going to be hard to get May in there. I don't know. I honestly don't know what you do to try to switch that if Pelfrey gets lit up tonight. Not trying to be the negative Nancy in the room saying it's going to happen. He's facing a pretty good lineup. That I really think that Pittsburgh lineup is scrappy. The top of that order, Polanco's having a down year, but
Starling Marte, I think's up there.
Marte's in there.
Always got McCutchen.
Any team with McCutchen, perennial MVP candidate every year.
Ramirez, they just added.
Right. Pedro
Jung Ho
Alvarez.
Gung has been pretty good.
Yeah, he's been a really, really nice piece for them.
Neil Walker. I would never forget Neil Walker.
Going. The one guy I think if the Twins were proactive, and I don't think we'd be having this discussion if we felt they were, Tommy Malone can't get righties out. And that's something that kind of falls under the radar with a guy with a 3.5 ERA, generally been good since he came back from Rochester. The last I checked, he's at like an 850 OPS against righties. He almost feels like the reincarnation of Brian Dunsing in the rotation.
As a starting pitcher.
As a starter. And so, it's hard to remember that Dunsing was pretty much a full-time starter for, I think, a year and a half. So, I don't know, could he be a situational lefty for you if you move him to the bullpen? Again, that's not in the offing. That's not immediately going to happen, but I wonder what their long-term vision is for all these chips they have and all these pieces when you consider, too, that I think they want Barrios to be in there sooner rather than later, maybe as early as out of the gate next season.
I think through the magic of podcasting, we actually have a microphone in the room with the Twins executives. Hold on.
Wow.
I think that's
We're trying to solve the problem here. Not like this, you're not even looking at the problem. We're very aware of the problem. Okay, good. What's the problem?
They're deciding right now, it sounds like.
Look, Billy, we all understand what the problem is. We have to replace...
Okay, good. What's the problem?
The problem is we have to replace 3 key players in our lineup.
What's the problem?
Same as it's ever been. We've got to replace these guys with what we have existing.
No, what's the problem, Barry?
We need 38 home runs, 120 RBIs, and 47 doubles to replace.
The problem we're trying to solve is that there are rich teams and there are poor teams. Then there's 50 feet of crap. And then there's us.
Ooh, now we're not in that position, are we?
No, it's not that bad.
Boy, I hope not. not in the 6th year of a brand new stadium. That's hope. I love that movie though.
That is a great movie.
It's not even historically accurate.
No.
And it's still awesome.
No, and you can read the book, and even the book is a far-fetched from what they depict in that movie, but it's still nice to think about. It's still, a fun storyline.
But aren't the numbers, though, are crunched differently since that era. Now there's a whole new...
Oh, yeah, it's entirely different.
Arithmetic being considered.
In fact, the Twins were the first team approached for something like that. If I remember correctly, the Twins were going to be the Moneyball team, and the Twins were like, not interested, thanks.
Well, the Twins do have a couple of geeks crunching numbers for them, right?
Yeah, Jack Goyen.
Well, Jack Goyen, and then he's got 2 assistants. I believe it's Mr. Edel and Mr. Beauchamp, and I always mess up with, I think it's Nick Beauchamp and Andrew Edel.
Correct.
I was reading about those guys today. Yeah, young guys who just know numbers and
so basically, yeah, they've been hired for the analytics department to help find statistics and trends that get preloaded onto guys' team-issued iPads to help for preparation of upcoming matchups. I think that was the basic gist of the article that I think it was Mike Berardino of the Pioneer Press wrote. And so that's encouraging. I mean, with the big data baseball coming out probably within the last couple months about the Pirates' operations.
Yeah, there was a new book that just came out.
Yep, a good time to write that book, or to review that, considering that the Twins and the Pirates are facing off here for the next couple of days. And so, yeah, very illuminating. And incidentally, again, while we're on the subject, big game tomorrow, Irvin Santana and Francisco Liriano. So get to face Liriano for a second time this season. Dusted him up. In fact, it was on a Twins Tuesday that the Twins bounced him after 2 innings. So maybe they'll have a little more luck against Liriano.
Well, we're sneaking up on a break here. We are live at Floyd's in Victoria. We saw the sun for a moment. No raindrops yet. A little cloudy, like the Twins' future at the moment. Boy, you've had such great sunny days out here at Floyd's on the patio. Well, we still have people out here on the patio, right? Are you guys alive out there? No, one of them is not alive.
The jury is still out.
We have buckets of beer to give away. We hope after the break someone comes up and asks a question. It could be anything.
You can't take the whole bucket, though.
We'll see how good the question is.
Okay, fine. It's open for negotiation.
Well, I want to see the young girl's ID before we give anything away. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I guess we got to talk about those Pirates, huh?
No, talk about baseball, maybe.
A little bit.
A little bit? All right. We're going to take a break and... Pirates tonight at 7:05, right?
Boom.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Yo-ho, yo-ho, a pirate's life for me. We extort, we pilfer, we filch and sack. Drink up, me hearties, yo-ho. Maraud and embezzle and even hijack. Drink up, me hearties, yo-ho.
Don't let your computer problems drive you mad. We are MacMen, Minnesota's premier tech consultants and problem solvers for Macs, mobile devices, troubleshooting, training, and much more. No more dragging your computer all over town because we come to you. We love making house calls to your home or small business. MacMen. Call 612-345-8005.
The term foodie can sometimes come across as a tickle pretentious. BT and Lydia are here to demystify the term and reclaim it for the sake of good food. Their weekly podcast brings in fellow foodies and culture creators from the Twin Cities to talk about all things food. Find this duo only on the Alive and Social Network.
Hey everybody, this is comedian Paul Mercurio, and I'm very excited to say that I packed up my podcast, The Paul Mercurio Show, which wasn't my first choice for a name. My first choice was Go Ahead, Touch It, but apparently that didn't test well. Well, I'm taking my podcast and I'm moving it to the Alive and Social Network, which is weird because I'm neither alive nor very social. I've interviewed a few people you might know, like Sir Paul McCartney. Yeah, that guy. He was in a band or something. I'm not sure. Stephen Colbert, Bob Costas, Jay Leno, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kristen Chenoweth, and many, many more. I've won Emmy and Peabody Awards for my work on The Daily Show. I've had my own Comedy Central special, been on HBO, and I'm excited to be part of the new network. The Paul Mercurio Show is available on iTunes, Android, and available at paulmercurio.com. Listen to my show every week. Every week you will get rich. How? I give you a foolproof method to go out and make $100,000 without ever leaving your couch. Okay, that's a lie, but the podcast, it's good.
The Rusty Gatenby Review is the entertaining show about entertainment from movies, music, and more. Award-winning TV guy Rusty Gatenby and his review is the podcast with the biggest cast in entertainment, part of the Alive and Social Network. You can get that Minnesota connection to Hollywood and beyond any time of the day or night simply by clicking on the RustyGatenbyReview.com. That's the RustyGatenbyReview.com, part of the Alive and Social Network.
Stop the rain from falling down.
Yeah, I think there's some broken hearts in the Twins world. Should we be broken, though?
No, I mean, you're playing with house money with how good they've played this year and how good you expected them to be. So, actually, Andrew was telling me during the break of a fun event that the Twins are doing for the Polad family of companies. So I think it'd be kind of fun if he plugged that here if we just got 1 second.
Yeah, oh yeah, what?
Yeah, so before taking my summer job this year with Inside Edge, I used to work with the Twins as an usher at the ballpark. I had done that for 5 seasons. And every single year, the Polad family, all of their companies hold a softball tournament at Taft Park, right by the airport. And it starts at 8 in the morning. It goes pretty much all day. And, I mean, I can't even name all the different companies that compete in this. I mean, of course, we've got the Twins with the guest services and the premium services ushers. We've got car dealerships. We've got the grounds crew. We've got construction companies. Just all these teams that are playing all day. It's also for charity. What we do is we pay $25 a person, and that goes right to the Twins Community Fund. And it's just a great time. TC is going to be there, so if you're into seeing TC, he's going to be there. Imagine how hot it must be in that bear costume for him.
Wait, that's a costume? I thought that was a trained actual...
If you're lucky, he might even be willing to launch a couple home runs on one of the softball fields out there.
So what you're saying, the listeners, they can get involved?
Well, unfortunately, signing up, it's not going to be possible for playing. That ended a long time ago. But
yeah.
But I mean, it's always fun just having people. Yeah, just come and watch. I mean, it's just nothing but softball all day.
And home runs can't be hit there. I hit a couple last week. Taft Park is really nice, actually, and we played a company game there. It's fun working at a sports company. I can't complain about that. So 12 of us went out there and played, and that was pretty cool.
My only complaint is that it's like every 10 minutes there's an airplane flying right over you, and then you can no longer hear anything on the field.
You can't communicate defensively whatsoever.
You better pray that a pop-up is not hit when that plane goes overhead, because you're not going to be able to hear.
Exactly.
You're not going to be able to hear your teammate calling for the ball.
That's why I can't play there, because my hits are so powerful. It's actually a terrorist threat. They will not let me play there. So
we all have our issues.
Hey, Brandon, tell us about. You mentioned your new show, The Breakdown. What's up with that?
Yeah, so former Twins right-hander Cole DeVries and I are doing a show. I think it was last Thursday, but I can't remember for sure because that's a long time ago. But we went to Buca de Beppo in Eden Prairie and recorded a podcast. We're kind of just going to do real in-depth baseball talk. I think we broke down Twins trade deadline stuff and Cole's path to the big leagues, which is very unconventional because he was an undrafted free agent. Very few of those that are American-born make the big leagues, and it is pretty good reason why he was an undrafted free agent. Not good for his purposes, but it's understandable when you hear him tell the story. So if you can find us on Spreaker, we've had pretty good numbers, and I'm actually really impressed that people have really enjoyed it. And Cole does a really nice job breaking things down from a big leaguer standpoint. I'm pretty semi-pro, but he brings it. He's good. So I'm really happy to have someone with that kind of credibility tie their name to mine, and we're having a lot of fun. So we'll be recording tomorrow. I think we'll probably make it available for publication either tomorrow night or the next day. So hopefully people can check it out.
It can be found through the Alive and Social Network, right?
Exactly. Yep. They've been pushing that pretty hard. They're pretty excited about what we're capable of. So we'll see what happens.
Now, are you going to allow people to come in and watch you guys, like some other podcasts from around the metro area?
We'll probably sell tickets, but
I've lost interest now.
We're gonna see how it evolves. Actually, maybe add a third person to come in from time to time. So we'll be looking to see what our options are there, but see how many subjects we can come up with. You know, you can only ask a guy so many questions before you got to recycle some material too. So we'll see what happens.
Speaking of coming out and watching, we're again out here at Floyd's, and we'll be here for another half hour. There will be you have live music scheduled for tonight, right?
Absolutely. A friend of the program, I guess we could call him now. Matt McAllister is going to be here again. He's here about every other Tuesday. Yeah, and he's got a new face with him today. Holly Halderson is going to be singing with him. Maybe get him on toward the end of the show. Get a little a duet going.
Is that Holly's pregame right there? She's drinking a beer and has a plate of chips.
Smart.
Smart.
Breakfast of champions.
Egg rolls.
Yes.
Smart.
All right.
She's one of the true superstars here at Floyd's. She's got the pipes.
This is the exact same routine that Barbara Streisand goes through before she sings. So that I assume that's a Leinie Kugel. That's Barbara Streisand's drink of choice before concerts. And then, when the wind is just right, I can smell the wings.
Yep, we got the wings going all night. Like we said earlier, bacon habanero. We tried a little bit of the sauce back here during break. It's really good. It's got a little kick to it.
Wow,
we've also got, as you know, Rusty, we've got the pro beer special, or the pro baseball special on beer. Dozen wings and a pitcher of beer for $13. It's a pitcher of Coors Light. We've got a couple food specials going on all week. We've got a turkey avocado pita with chips. Haven't tried that one, and we maybe have to have somebody let us know how it is. And then we've got the pork belly burger. It comes with a buffalo and barbecue sauce, topped with cheddar and coleslaw. I know Brandon already said
that's the angle I'm going.
Brandon's our in-house food taste tester, and every week he lets me know the dish on our food. So he's going to try the pork belly burger this week.
And then you got even though it's cloudy, you got the garage doors open, the big screen on, and you'll have the Twins.
It's always sunny at Floyd's.
Yeah.
even if the weather doesn't agree.
And we still have the opportunity to give away some beer, so come on up and ask a question. Are you pointing to somebody?
I'm trying to get somebody.
Oh, no, hey, we don't want to beg.
Starling Marte, Gregory Polanco, and Andrew McCutcheon. It's a talented team that 3 or 4 years ago was the whipping boys of baseball, and they've just turned it around with an incredible, infusing an incredible amount of talent surrounded by Andrew McCutcheon.
So they're having their own kind of Twins experience, renaissance.
They're unbelievable right now. It's just that the Cardinals are that much better.
The Cardinals are their Kansas City.
Exactly, and they're both in Missouri. It's a crazy year for Missouri baseball. Their two teams
Why is that? A Twins hat.
What's your name, sir?
Boomer Schnabels.
Perfect.
Kind of I can see it.
So no, I
yes.
just wondering. Yeah, I think. What do you think the chances of the Twins making a push? Because I don't.
Playoffs?
Yeah, I don't watch too much, but
What is that? What is their last moment of decision? When is the clock?
Well, Friday, I think at 3 o'clock Central. Is it Central Time or is it 3 o'clock Eastern?
I would assume it's Eastern.
Yeah,
everything's Eastern.
Yeah, so it's Friday afternoon. They have to make the last pre-waiver deals. Anything that happens in August has to clear waivers or be a claim scenario, which is way more complicated than digital radio needs to get. However, the higher priced guys you can kind of get into August, but if you're going to make a big deal,
What's the answer to his question? When will the Twins make a push? Will the Twins
tomorrow.
make a push?
No, I think they will. I think you're going to be looking at a team that can probably stay in contention the rest of the way. They've got some teams nipping at their heels, and it'll depend on who sells and who sells what. If the Tigers decide to trade Price and Cespedes, you can cross them off. If the White Sox trade Samardzija, that's a team that's pretty far behind. I still believe in Cleveland, and I say it on every single thing that I do because that pitching staff is just so nasty. So the Twins are going to have to fend off some pretty strong comers, but I think they can do it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Enjoy the beer.
Coors Light.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. No, I agree. It's a good point because it seems like every week on the show we're kind of in somewhat of a holding pattern. It's like, yeah, well, we're still in it. We're still in it. Let's see what they do next week. Well, they never fall off the cliff, but they also never just wow you and make you go, okay, this team's really put it together. They're sticking around.
I think when you look at how the other teams are addressing the trade deadline and you kind of survey the landscape, they sense that the Twins are at least somewhat legitimate. It's a team that they need to be aware of. It's not a team you can just kind of push away like it's your little brother. You're just pushing them out of your room or something. It's a team that I think they have to respect.
I got a question for all you guys. I've been talking with some of my friends, and one of them actually had the gall of telling me that she actually doesn't want the Twins to make the playoffs because of the inevitable disappointment. But I'm going to spin that. I told her she was crazy, but I'm going to spin that and say, let's say the Twins do happen to fade, though, and they don't make the playoffs. Would you be disappointed overall with this season, or do you think what they've done so far has been a very welcome surprise?
Not at all. Perspective really needs to be kept here. If you'd have told that, and we've said it before on the show, if you'd have told us in the beginning of April that this team was going to be 6 games above 500 in the end of July, that they would hold a wild card spot at that point, you just wouldn't have believed the person saying it. It just was not very realistic at that point, especially after the 1-6 start. So, yeah, no, it'd be very, other than a complete collapse surrounded by, a dismal failure, I really have a hard time believing you look at this season as a loss.
Well, here's one thing to consider. If you stay 6 games out over 500, finish the season 84 and 78, you're probably in the mix, too. So all you have to do is really hold serve the rest of the way, stay 500 the rest of the way. I think that's reasonable. I think the rest of their schedule is not terribly difficult. I don't know that it's easy.
Well, and if you win 84 games, how many? That's adding about 20, close to 20 wins on top of last year,
right? Which would have been unheard of, no matter how you look at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of meteoric rise, kind of like what the Royals did, or
different way. Also. That's when if you get caught up in trying to copy someone's success, you can kind of fall into holes. I think doing it their own way has been great.
And to your friend's point, when it comes to the what we consider inevitable playoff disappointment with this team. Remember one thing is, especially because we're talking about this team right now, the Pirates. The Pirates last year got in as a wild card team, and I believe went a tight, close game with the San Francisco Giants. Ended up losing that game late.
I think they've lost wild card games 2 years in a row.
Right.
Yep.
So that team loses to the Giants, who eventually go on to win the World Series, we all know now. And the Pirates have continued to build on it. Now, not exactly the same team dynamic, but going to the playoffs and losing can still be something you springboard off of.
Oakland did the opposite. They went into a tailspin. And they were in that tailspin coming into that
before
game.
The playoffs started.
And they still almost won.
Yeah. And then, you could even talk about the Royals then. They barely beat the Athletics in that wild card game.
Barely
and
beat
they could go ahead and they go to the World Series then, and nobody expected that out of them.
Exactly.
So,
what are the chances of a complete collapse, though?
It's still moderately high, 25% probably.
I think it depends on how much you believe in this team.
Or they just turn into a pumpkin in their glass slipper.
And as of right now, health has been pretty strong on this team. We really haven't dealt with any major injuries. If Plouffe some of the young guys.
Buxton and Alasko have been the 2 big ones.
Right. And if that's all and can you really even consider Buxton a loss? He wasn't supposed to be here this year. And
he wasn't hitting when he was here.
Right. If you were to lose a Plouffe, heaven forbid a Dozier, things could tailspin pretty fast.
Yep. Well, I think if you believe in the leadership of the team, that's not going to change. So if you believe that Torrey Hunter, if you believe that Paul Molitor, and to some lesser extent Plouffe and Dozier have been big-time leaders for this team, those guys aren't going anywhere. No. So if you believe in that leadership, there's no reason to believe that they can't be there with an 82 to 85 win season, which puts you right in the thick of it. In fact, I think that the prospectus and Fangraphs both forecasted like game 163 with like 82 or 83 wins.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think about, but because there's so much parity in the American League right now, it might not take much more than 500 to be in the mix at the end of the season.
Right.
I think the health of the Twins has been something that nobody has talked about, and it's been unbelievable. Just think about the stability of the starting rotation. We can complain all we want about Pelfrey being there, but I think, just off the top of my head, I think we've had 7 starting pitchers this year, and the only reason it's 7 is because J.R. Graham made 1 spot start for like 4 innings.
And they're bookended by teams in the division that have much, much bigger injury issues. You talk about Alex Gordon for the Royals, you talk about Miguel Cabrera for the Tigers, and the Twins have nothing like that. That would literally be like Brian Dozier missing 6 to 8 weeks. Nothing like that has happened.
Did you just jinx it? Did you just...
Well, in fairness to Brandon, I did bring it up first, so I guess it falls on my head, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Colin. Hashtag blame Colin.
Can you imagine?
Let's get it trending.
Trips over a bat to the locker room. Brian Dozier breaks his ankle.
Sano tripped over the baseball.
And that turned out to be a decent story this week, because last week at this point on this show, we were kind of wondering whether that was going to be a lingering thing, whether it was going to be a day-to-day thing. He's come back. He's played pretty well.
And I wrote a story about him. Cheap plug, about how he's handled not seeing very many fastballs. He's absolutely crushing breaking pitches, striking out a lot, walking a lot, but generally positive reviews on his early returns for the Twins. I'm enthused.
I think he was just giving you Domingo Ayala quotes the whole time.
Heat a bomb, heat a bomb.
I hit a bomb.
Or whatever. This is a great quote. Look for it on Twins Daily.
Yeah, the plate discipline he has shown so far has been unreal. I mean, especially, I've been comparing him to Byron Buxton. Buxton was just flailing at sliders, low and away all the time, and then here comes Sano, and he's just spitting on them every single time.
Yep. So what was the key there? How did Sano become a better batter? And
I think he's just aware of
he was born with it.
Yep, I think he's aware of what he can punish and what he can't. And he doesn't get too tied up in trying to hit everything, which is...
But wasn't he earlier in his batting career?
I just think he's evolved as a hitter now that he's an aged 22-year-old.
Right.
You get to that certain age and you just figure things out. No, actually, though, Kenny Vargas never, to this point, has figured that out. And I think that's the difference between the two as hitters, because you've got two guys that are imposing figures, and there's just a crazy canyon between the two and their discipline, because they both faced about 50% fastballs, and so it's been amazing how different those two have been.
Yeah, it's like Vargas is thinking he can hit a home run on every pitch, and Sano is like, no, I'm going to hit a home run on this pitch.
That's absolutely been the most impressive thing to me about Sano, is the thing that he's gotten over the idea that he needs to hit every ball over the fence, because that is a huge detriment to young hitters.
A couple of fun breaking news things. How do you say the Mets closer's name? Yenry Mejia?
I think it's Henry Mejia.
Popped for 162 game ban for a second failed PED test.
Second one this year.
Yep, second this year. And then another one, it sounds like David Murphy of the Indians, Cleveland Indians, is about to be traded to the Angels. They were looking for another outfielder after Shane Victorino.
Wow. Angels in the outfield.
Yep, exactly. A couple interesting trade scenarios and suspension things going on. And I understand we have another guest here.
It looks like a Twins expert here, trying to get some free beer off of the Twins Tuesday show. Excuse me, ma'am, what's your name?
Renee.
Renee, your no last name, you're like Cher. You're like Madonna.
Renee Colstead.
Oh, okay.
My mom. That's my son there.
Oh, you're a ringer. That is not your son.
That's my son, yeah.
What's his name?
Patrick.
Okay,
you're not allowed to have children when you're in third grade. How did that happen?
Did you teach him how to dress?
No,
Thank heavens.
No, I just wonder what is going to happen to Santana. Is he going to be cut, or are they keeping him?
Danny Santana? The shortstop?
The pitcher Irvin, or the shortstop Danny? We got a couple of Santanas on the team this year.
The shortstop. She wants to know about the shortstop. I do think there's a chance he could go back to Rochester. They could bring up Oswaldo Arcia if they can find playing time. And that's the issue, is where do you play him?
Because they've got Jorge Polanco at AAA right now.
And the reports I've heard on his defense are not good. Very bad. I have an inside source that's telling me some very bad things defensively.
You get a free beer. We need to see your ID, though.
Oh, nicely done.
So, I just wanted
let your son vouch for you.
Before this question, though, I just wanted to go back. You were talking about Henry Mejia getting suspended again.
He's been back 3 weeks, and he's suspended for the same exact drug.
So he actually was the closer coming into the season, but then he got popped the first time, and so then they had Yoris Familia take over for him.
Right.
Familia has been amazing. He was actually in the final vote for the National League, and I don't think he really should have won. I think Johnny Cueto or Clayton Kershaw were definitely more deserving for that. But Mejia now. So it's not like the Mets are losing their closer, because they had already lost him and they already had found a suitable replacement. But
yesterday with Tyler Clippard.
How dumb do you have to be to get suspended twice in the same season?
In theory, it would be like if Irvin Santana had a suspension come down today for Stanislaw again.
Oh man. We're throwing out all sorts of bad omens today. Dozier's going on the DL. Santana's juicing. We're done.
And the sun is blocked.
Rusty, to your question, how does this team collapse if it happens? We just highlighted it.
We've basically laid out the blueprint.
Sano decides to go play with fireworks, blows off a couple of fingers.
Oh, Jonathan, it was the JPP, Jonathan Pierre, Paul.
Jason Pierre Sano.
Jason, yeah, there you go.
Well, and then there was another guy.
There were two football players that were playing with fireworks.
The other
Tampa
guy
Bay guy
retired. Yeah,
he quit because of his stupidity.
Yeah.
Lost 2 fingers.
I've heard a lot of different weird ways to get hurt, and honestly, I've never known anybody that got hurt with fireworks. I guess I just count my lucky stripes.
How does that happen?
It's the next big thing in sports. That it's been years and years already since they started telling these guys that they can't drive motorcycles and they can't go skydiving.
Be professional wrestlers.
How do you stop people
play
from buying
with cherry bombs?
Yes,
doofus.
Leave it to the professionals. Go down to Lake Minnetonka.
Still more people filing in out here at Floyd's out on the patio. It's a little cloudy, but it's warm. It's the Vikings are in their camp. There's not many more days like this left, so you got to enjoy Minnesota summer when you can. What is the State Fair next week? It's coming up.
Two. I think
it's
a month away.
Yeah. Getting close though.
You're accelerating summer a little too fast there.
But that's how it feels. It's like bam. I thought 4th of July was just like last weekend, and now the Viking. I'm actually excited for this Viking season. That has potential as well.
They're going to be all right. I would say 10-6.
I think 10-6, 9-7 is a very fair prediction. It's getting to be an exciting with them again. Finally,
Minnesota sports in general just turned around.
Twins
number one pick.
Right. And if the Twins keep this up and just sneak into a wild card spot, I think there's a lot of people that wouldn't think it wouldn't be totally surprising if the Vikings somehow got into one of the playoff spots. And you're looking at 3 out of 4 professional teams in this state reaching the playoffs all at the same time.
And then the Timberwolves won't be far behind either.
Right. Flashback to like the early mid 2000s last time that we had that much to be excited about in this town.
Yep.
I can hear Mankato right now.
Oh, we're getting some rain.
No, don't say that.
I see it.
We're segueing to our musical section of the show, but
we've got Matt McAllister, great friend of the program, gonna come on here along with Holly Halderson, and I'm looking forward. I'm gonna sit on the patio and stomp my feet and clap my hands.
Well, let's discuss what needs to happen now next week. We got. Can we beat these Pirates? These Pirates are having a hell of a season.
I mean, I think the winnable matchup of the two is tonight. Was it
Charlie Morton's throwing?
So, what is the forecast? Is it going to rain? Is it going to be a delay of sorts?
No, I don't. I mean, they never know that until hour before game time. I don't think they ever really plan too far in advance.
Let me get my friend Patrick Hammer on the phone. He would let us
He'll
know.
tell us exactly what's going on.
He knows
exactly in Buffalo.
Well, he can tell.
I see him on Twitter. He's like, storms coming into the area. And I'm like, oh, where? Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares? Who even cares?
No, it's going to be an interesting week. We've got this 2-game set against Pittsburgh, and then it's Seattle at home to close off this little mini homestand, and then it's 4 on the road at Toronto, just in time for them to unveil their new shiny toy.
Chris Colabello is going to kill him too. It's not even going to be Josh Donaldson. It won't be any of the. It won't be the stalwarts. It'll be Colabello or Devin Travis or Justin Smoke will hit a bomb.
It does seem like we've had some very depressing moments up at the what is it? Not
Rogers Center.
The Rogers Center. That's
Sky Dome. I remember the Sky Dome.
Right. It used to be the Sky Dome. The original Nishioka bad news Bears moment where he broke his leg happened up there in the.
I always think about them like we should be thanking Nick Swisher for depriving us of
right. No, was it? That was where you're right. That was his first game was up at the Rogers Center, and that's where I just saw somebody post on Twitter that a few days ago was his 31st birthday, and it's just like
he celebrated with Mountain Dew and some Marlboro Reds.
Some is an understatement there.
Yeah,
if you've heard the stories.
Oh, I've heard he had some very odd vices for.
After the Pirates, we think that we should be able to take that series?
I think you got to stay afloat with 500 record, and if you can do that, anything can happen. I mean, Toronto and Cleveland on the road is not going to be a walk in the park. Texas and Cleveland when you come back after that. Mid-August is when you kind of have to sink or swim and figure out where you're at, because that's the last time you can really make any moves at all to have guys that are playoff roster eligible. And I don't know that they're going to be able to do much more than stay afloat.
We got one more question if we can sneak it in real quick, Rusty.
Yeah. What's your name, sir?
Paul Johnson.
What's the hat? It's a red hat with a white V.
Victoria Vicks.
Nice.
Local
ball. I love the town ball.
So not the Vulcans.
No. But anyways, I read in the paper today that Kenny Vargas is on the trading block. How could they dare do that? When in a few years you're going to have him playing first and Sana playing third. I just kind of curious what that is.
What do you guys think?
I think they've given up on Big Kenny in some respects just because of his plate discipline. But it does. Even though he's not, the David Ortiz type prospect in terms of how good he could be, you still have that weird feeling in the pit of your stomach, like, what happens if he gets away? And now he's struggled at Chattanooga so far. Hasn't hit for a lot of average, but if he gets away and blows. So I think I understand. I understand where you're coming from because he looks exactly like David Ortiz too.
Give the man a beer.
To body type.
Nice.
You got to twist the top off yourself.
Nice cold Coors Light.
You're not on the clock right now, are you?
No. Nope. I don't crack beers.
You're going to just sit back and enjoy the band.
Exactly.
Maybe get some of your own.
Like I said, I'm excited. I'm excited about this band. I'm going to be out there clapping my fingers and trying to dance. Two left
clapping
feet.
Your fingers, though.
Clapping my well, yeah.
Snapping
something.
Snapping your fingers.
Yeah, snapping them.
And chewing on the chicken wings.
No, definitely. I agree with Brandon there. It just feels like he's one of those guys that Vargas, if he gets away, you're just going to go, why?
He'll go to Toronto where they blow everybody up.
Yep. Go to a ballpark where maybe they got like a short porch in right field. He'll be a Yankee. That's my prediction. He's going to be a Yankee and just smash
right after
balls.
Mark Teixeira
Yep, he's going to hit it out into the bleacher creatures out there.
Just wreck Phil Hughes.
It doesn't help when you've seen guys like JD Martinez who were just struggling with their original team.
Jose Bautista again, another
Jose
Toronto
Bautista,
Blue Jays.
another one.
Yeah,
guys that used to be decent prospects failed to capitalize on that, and then the Blue Jays turn you into a superstar.
They just figure something out somewhere else.
I don't get it.
All right, well, good luck, Twins. Hopefully they get the game in. 7:05 tonight. Come on down here if you don't have tickets. They'll have it on the big screen. At what point do you shut the garage doors? How much of a downpour do you need?
Gale force winds. It's basically got to be a F1 tornado.
We got someone sneaking in here in the ninth inning. Do we have another question?
2-minute warning. We can get it.
All right. This guy's got a driver's cap on. He looks
wants
very erudite. What's your name, sir?
Mike.
Mike.
He looks like a Mike.
Would you describe that as a driving cap?
I didn't want to look like a baseball player tonight.
Why? Because normally you do, and that gets irritating?
I don't know. I'm getting.
And this is the only thing I could think of.
Okay. I like it.
And I didn't know you guys were going to be here, or else.
Every Tuesday, Twins Tuesday. So
I did not know.
Are you a fan of the Minnesota Twins?
I am the husband of a freakishly strong Twins fan that has no courage to come up here and ask her questions.
We're not that mean, are we?
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Mike.
Mike, you got to know that was dangerous waters you just swam in when you're describing your wife, who's sitting right over there, and you begin with, she is freakishly... And you let that just float out there for a while.
Long pause.
I'm like, how are you going to land this thing?
She
Twins
actually watches all the games. Okay. I don't know of anybody that
so what you're
actually
saying,
watch all the games.
The question you're about to ask is actually her question over there in the red. Okay. What is your wife's question?
Oh, how many home runs do you think Dozier's going to finish with?
He's having a good season.
Well, let's have a look here. You got Dozier at 21 right now. I will say 30, right on the nose. Put him down for 30. I don't think he's going to go any more than that. I think he's going to have a little bit of a second half skid like he did last year, but he'll stay hot enough to hit 30. Got a good answer?
Yes, 30.
Because what did he have last season?
Oh, it was only like 24 or 23.
Yeah.
He cooled down a ton after the All-Star break.
Yeah,
but you don't think he's going to have a an extreme season where he starts going up exponentially.
I think this will be the extreme season because as a second baseman, there's just not that much power out there. So this is 30 will be
and don't forget how little he hit in the minor leagues.
Right.
It was 13 home runs through his entire minor league career.
Like
Not one season, the entire minor league career.
Well, he's coming up fast, and that's why she wanted to know.
Yeah,
sounds
all right.
good.
Well, grab a beer for her.
Yes, one for both of you.
Fantastic Coors Light. All right.
Bring her one too if she wants one.
Well, guys, we'll get back. We're going to end the show as we always do with some wonderful music live here from Floyd's. Thanks for sitting in. Brandon, we'll see you next week. I'm
going to have a pinch hitter. I'm actually closing on my house next week, so we'll have somebody sitting in this seat that'll try to...
We'll listen in Thursday to the breakdown, right?
There you go. That sounds like a good plan.
All right. Thanks, guys. Yep. Thanks for filling in. All right, so now comes the musical portion of the show. We have wonderful
Holly Halderson.
Holly Halderson on guitar. There's going to be two guitars. You guys going to do dueling banjos? No,
she's just an imaginary friend of mine, Rusty. One of them.
Wow. Well, she looks good for an imaginary friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, I actually played with her husband a week or two ago. So that's Chris in the audience over there.
Nice.
So yeah.
So what do you got for us tonight?
Oh, I think we're gonna play an old Everly Brothers song. I think Billy Joel and Nora Jones actually redid it recently also. So it's a good song though. We'll wait to get done here. Holly and I actually been in a few bands together in the past, along with Chris.
Yep.
So she's just like a good old boy, you know.
Now that's not a compliment,
actually,
or is it?
She can party like the best of them, but.
Thanks, Maddie.
Yeah, she just got back from a trip in down in a glacier and stuff like that with her little one. And
what were you doing there?
I went out to see my grandparents and see the mountains.
Did you get up on in the mountains?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was gorgeous.
Now, what are you guys going to do if it does start to sprinkle out here at Floyd's patio?
Keep playing.
Yeah. You'll be like the Diana Ross in Central Park moment. Did you ever see that video? YouTube it.
Nice.
She kept singing through the rain.
Did anything happen to her? Actually, she's still alive. So.
No, yeah, she's fine. Her hair got wet. So they're tweaking some buttons here. Are we going to be all right? The tweaking of the buttons. Will she be... Does anyone have duct tape or a hammer? Is it going to be you two then playing all evening?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll be playing all evening.
6 to 9:30.
6 to 9:30. How are we looking here, guys?
We got a little...
I got a timid thumbs up. I think we're all right. United. Oh, we're going to... All right. Well, as we're rewiring for music here, just want to remind you that, every Tuesday we're out here with Twins Tuesday at Floyd's in Victoria. Are you guys local, or do you guys have to road trip out here?
No, we're pretty local. She lives in Jordan. I live down just about 3 miles away. So that's why you always see me up here. So,
what are some of the other spots people can see you play?
Well, I played at Fletcher's last Friday. The other last Saturday, my big band, sonically speaking, was at Bayside. So, and then Chris and I actually play with Aaron over there in a bluegrass band, and we were out here last Sunday playing. So that's a gang of pickers. So I got my hands full.
Did you ever? The AC/DC had their anniversary of Back in Black. Did you ever hear the bluegrass version of Thunderstruck?
I did actually. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, you can do that.
Oh yeah.
You got it?
Yeah. You sound okay, Al?
I think so.
All right. Well, wrapping up another Twins Tuesday, we'll let you guys sing us out.
Well, thanks, guys, again for having us out. This is a Everly Brothers song. Yo, Wyatt, if we can get it, maybe a little... All right, here we go. All right, you ready? It's called Long Time Gone. You cheated me and made me lonely.
gonna be your very own. There'll be a day you want me only. 'Cause when I leave, I'll be a long time gone. I'll be a long time gone. Be a long time gone. Yes, when I leave, I'll be a long time gone. You're gonna be sad. You're gonna be lonely. You're gonna be blue and all alone. You'll regret the day you see me leaving. 'Cause when I leave, I'll be a long time gone. I'll be a long time gone. I'll be a long time gone. Yes, when I leave, I'll be a long time gone. You'll see my face through tears and sorrow. You'll miss the love you called your own. Baby, there'll be no tomorrow. 'Cause when I leave, I'll be a long time gone. I'll be a long time gone. I'll be a long time gone. Yes, when I leave, I'll be a long time gone. I'll be a long time gone. I'll be a long time gone. Yes, when I leave, I'll be a long time gone. Yes, when I leave, I'll be a long time gone.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
It's awesome.